Hey guys, this is Jake at That Fit Friend, and today we're going to be talking about 4 quick and simple tips to make your cross-training shoes last longer. And I'm talking about adding months to their lives. There are little things that we can do on a daily basis, whether it be when we're wearing them or when we're trying to clean them, that will prolong their life. Now, if you know all the tips in this video already, awesome. Hopefully you're taking great care of your shoes. But if not, maybe you can take something away and add a little bit of life to your favorite models. But now let's dive into tip number 1. Picture this. You are a young Jake, no older than 12, out in the countryside of Missouri. The harsh reality of the world around you hasn't hit yet. You haven't adopted the pessimistic, cynical view that you have now. And every weekend, you mow the grass with dad. It's a great time to bond, and you guys get to tackle some fun activities together. But then afterwards, your shoes are covered in grass. So what does good old dad say? He says, pop them in the washer and dryer. Then a couple months later, mom's asking, why the heck am I buying you new shoes? Why are they already broken down? And you're left there scratching your head wondering why. Well, the reason is because you put them in the washer and dryer. And that is our first tip, is do not put your cross-training shoes in the washer and dryer. And I know some sites say you can put them in on delicate and cold and washer and just don't dry them. I would recommend avoiding the process altogether and just hedging your bets. Because when we put shoes in the washing machine, even if we run it on cold and delicates, they're still gonna absorb a ton of water, which can then make the drying process more of a hassle. And you don't wanna put them in the dryer because the excessive heat in the dryer can really accelerate the breakdown of your shoes. So here's a tip instead, which is to hand wash your shoes if they need to be cleaned. And how you're gonna do this is you're gonna take a washcloth, use some soft soap and some lukewarm water and hand wipe down your shoes. That's gonna allow you to mitigate how much water the shoes are physically soaking in. And then when you dry your shoes, what you're gonna do is take out the insole, place a little bit of newspaper in the shoe itself and store them in a dry area and allow them to air dry. This is gonna be a much better means for prolonging the life of your shoes. And again, tip number 1 is don't do what young Jake did and what his dad still does, which is put your shoes in the washer and dryer. It is a surefire way to cause your shoes to break down at a much faster rate. Tip number 2 is literally the simplest thing you can do, and that is only wearing your cross-training shoes for training. See this pair of Nike Metcon 4s? These are my babies. I have had these for multiple years. I have trained very hard in this model. And overall, they're still in pretty dang good shape. And that is because I make an active point to only wear this shoe for training. So what I'd recommend doing is that if you are investing in a pair of nicer cross-training shoes, finding a second very affordable budget pair of training shoes to then wear on a day-to-day basis. When we're wearing our shoes on a daily basis and then going out in the heat, going out in the rain, getting them dirty, all these elements can accelerate the breakdown of our shoe. So a simple way to make your nicer, probably more expensive pair of cross-training shoes go the distance is to only limit their wear for cross-training or training. So making sure that when you're going to the gym, you're wearing a different pair of just daily drivers to beat up and then putting on your better shoes there and then taking them off when you leave. This can make your shoes last an extra 6 months, 8 months to even a year. The third tip, and this one kind of piggybacks off of tip number 2, is paying attention to where you are storing your shoes. So a couple of examples of where not to store your shoes include putting them in your garage, on your front porch, in a sweaty gym bag, and just leaving them there. Because when we talk about elements accelerating the breakdown of your shoes, things like excessive heat, the sun, moisture, this can all cause breakdown of foams used in midsoles, polyurethanes used on the outskirts of the shoe, throughout the upper, etc. And if we are storing our shoes in just more of a neutral, dry place, we're gonna be able to prolong their life a little bit more. So if you're like myself and you have a gym bag, for example, where you throw your knee sleeves, your weightlifting belt, your weightlifting shoes, and the cross-training shoes you're using for the day, making sure that after your sessions, you're unzipping that and then taking your shoes out and placing them away from that more moist, humid environment, that'll help prolong the life of your shoes. So my final tip is to avoid just jamming your foot into your shoe and unlacing the shoe when taking them off and then relacing them when putting them on. I am probably the biggest offender of this, but simply jamming your foot into an already tied shoe can be a quick means to breaking down the overall boot construction of your shoe and the midfoot. Check out the Nike Metcon 4 here. You can see that one side is already broken down in this heel because there have been plenty of occasions where I've tried to jam my foot into the shoe, and now this lateral right heel is forever bent and broken down. And when we're talking about a cross-training shoe and we're trying to prevent heel slip and just prolong the overall stability of the boot, jamming your foot in can be a quick means to break that down. And also, every time we try to jam our foot into an already tied shoe, we are chancing tearing the tongue and stretching out that midfoot construction. So my advice is to just take the extra 5 seconds it takes to unlace the shoe and then relace them when putting them on and then taking them off. But overall, guys, that wraps up my 4 tips for prolonging your cross training shoes life. Tip number 1, don't put your shoes in the washer and dryer, spot clean them instead with a washcloth, some lukewarm water, and a soft soap. Tip number 2, only wear your shoes for training. Try to limit how much you're wearing them on a daily basis. Tip number 3, store them in a neutral/dry location that is void of excessive elements. And then tip number 4, take a little bit of extra time to unlace and relace your shoes when taking them off and putting them on. But hopefully you're able to take something away from this video and apply that to your favorite shoe to make its life last a little bit longer. Because I know for a fact that if you're like me and you have a favorite shoe and they don't make it anymore, it can be very frustrating trying to find something that's either very similar or that same model. So if you want to hedge your bets and really make sure you're getting the most out of your favorite shoe, these tips can be really useful. If you have any questions on this video, hit me in the comments below, or if you have any other tips that I might have missed, drop a comment below and let's build a nice list of tips to help people make their shoes last longer. But as always, guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.